Manchester United are not willing to meet West Ham's valuation for midfielder Matheus Fernandes. Manchester United have no plans to engage with Barcelona over another loan deal for Marcus Rashford. Nottingham Forest want to sign a midfielder this summer, and Tottenham have entered the race to sign Newcastle midfielder Sandro Tonali. Here are your daily Premier League news headlines. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel and to another edition of the Daily Premier League News Headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. My name is Lee The Dorset Spur, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's get into it. Here are the latest headlines. Manchester United won't meet the £80 million Fernandes price. Manchester United are not willing to meet West Ham's asking price for midfielder Matheus Fernandes, which is understood to be around £80 million, according to reports in the Mirror. The Portugal international is also wanted by both European champions Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid. United are preparing an opening bid for Fernandes. Sky Sports News understand the 21-year-old is now viewed as a priority target for United, with midfield an area they have been keen to strengthen this summer. Sky Sports News also understand West Ham's value Fernandes at around £80 million and are in no rush to sell the player. United are unlikely to entertain such a big price tag. The two clubs will have to find a compromise for a deal to be done after the Hammers signed Fernandes for an initial fee of £38 million last summer from Southampton. Decision makers inside West Ham believe Fernandes was one of the best young players in the Premier League last season, and he has the potential to become as good as Declan Rice, who was sold to Arsenal for £105 million in 2023. Manchester United have no plans to engage with Barcelona over another loan for Marcus Rashford, after the Spanish champions allowed their £26 million option to buy expire. Barcelona had until midnight on Monday to make Rashford's move permanent under the agreement struck last summer, but, as expected, were unwilling to pay that fee. They have been interested in another loan, but United do not want to entertain that. Rashford is currently in the US preparing for England's World Cup opener against Croatia on Wednesday, and he's expected to return to United once the tournament is over, and he has had a short break. Barca's decision to sign Anthony Gordon, who Rashford is competing with for a starting spot at the World Cup at the start of the summer for £69 million from Newcastle, has raised doubts about Rashford's future in Catalonia. Since Rashford left for Barcelona, the expectation has been that we have seen the last of him at United, and Sky Sports News have been told all parties will continue to work on securing him a permanent move away this summer. There is a long way to go in the window for Rashford's future to be resolved, and Sky Sports News understand there is confidence at United that they will find a buyer who is willing to go higher than Barcelona's now expired £26 million option price. Rashford has spent the last 18 months on loan at Aston Villa and Barcelona, and last featured for United in December 2024 after he was frozen out by former head coach Ruben Amorim. Failure to move Rashford on will likely complicate any plans for United to sign a left winger. They have been exploring options in that position. West Ham's Somerville is the latest name to emerge as one of the wingers United have an interest in this summer. As things stand, United's priority is securing a second midfield signing as they look to bring in Matheus Fernandes from West Ham after agreeing a deal for Atalanta's Ederson worth up to £39 million. They could add a third central midfielder if Manuel Ugarte departs. United's plans to sign a left back could take priority over their search for a left winger. Now it has been decided that Patrick Dorgu will be used in a more advanced role rather than in defence. Lewis Hall and Anthony Robinson are among United's targets for left back. Nottingham Forest want to sign a midfielder this summer, regardless of what happens to Manchester City target Elliot Anderson. Forest tried to sign David Fratesi from Inter Milan on loan in the winter window, and he remains a player that they admire. However, no offer has been made for the 26-year-old Italy international at this stage. According to Sky Sports in Italy, Inter want around £26 million, and they need to trim their squad before making any signings. Crystal Palace defender Lacroix has become a target for Chelsea, according to reports in the Daily Mail. The France international 26 is contracted to Crystal Palace until the summer of 2029. Morocco starlet Ayoub Hadi was outstanding in the side's 1-1 draw with Brazil in New York on Saturday. So much so that Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea are all believed to be monitoring the player, according to reports in the Daily Mail. And finally, Tottenham have entered the race to sign Newcastle midfielder Sandro Tonali, according to Fabrizio Romano. It is claimed that head coach Roberto De Zerbi wants the Italian as the new star of his midfield and is ready to face off competition from Manchester City and Arsenal for his signature. Tonali was subject of interest from the Gunners in January, with it being claimed that his agent had offered him out to the club, but a move never materialised. So, my thoughts on some of these stories, and again, apologies for my terrible pronunciation of some of these names. Despite looking them up and trying to work it out, I still cannot seem to get it right. But yeah, let's talk about the Matheus Fernandes to Manchester United, £80 million. Wow, what a fee that is! It's absolutely crazy how the transfer window has gone. You know, for a player that was £38 million last summer to be in a team that was relegated, to be worth more than double that in the space of a few weeks is astounding to me. But it does look like Manchester United are definitely one of the clubs doing the rounds in this transfer window. Lots of rumours and discussions going on about them, along with a few other clubs, but then primarily a lot of work going on there in the midfield areas, looking for a left-sided player as well. I can't see him going for £80 million, but obviously, if Manchester United are in the Champions League and they've got plenty of money to spend, and West Ham are in the Championship looking to rebuild a squad able to kind of get them out of that Championship, because it's a totally different race to run. I think a deal could definitely be done, but West Ham obviously trying to get the best they can for their club, which makes absolute sense. I don't fault them at all. You know, if he's one of their players, he's got a contract. Why would they want to just sell him for as cheap as Manchester United might want? So, yeah, I can see that, and I can see that happening, to be honest. This thing with Marcus Rashford, I think there'll be plenty of clubs out there that will look to take Marcus Rashford. I think the biggest issue around Marcus Rashford tends to be his attitude. He fell out spectacularly with Aberin, but there must be more than that, because for them not to want him back after changing the manager and everything else suggests that there's something else going on there. I think the big sticking point for him is his wage demands, and hence why Barcelona don't want to spend £26 million and have to pay him $300,000 a week. But I think there'll be plenty of clubs out there that will be willing to take Rashford. It's just whether Rashford wants to go to any of those clubs. I mean, he did go to Aston Villa, so you know there is opportunity there if he's prepared to do that. But yeah, I can't see that one being an issue for him. I think he'll pick up a club somewhere along the line, absolutely, for sure. I do think he may likely stay in Spain, because he looks like he did enjoy it over there. But you know, we'll just have to see where that goes from there. And I know that Carrick did leave the door open that he could go back to United if it was really required, but it does seem like they're keen to move him on, and reduce that wage bill. I think time has moved on from him, and he's burnt his bridges, but we shall see. And finally, the big one for me, obviously, is the Tonali news. Bit of a shock for me, because we are talking probably somewhere in the region of 80 to 100 million pound for him. Will Tottenham pay that sort of money? It would be astounding if they did. I think this is a situation where most Tottenham fans will be saying this is where the owners need to step up and say, this is how we're going to start doing things differently, by going out and buying the best players that we can get. I say he's got Premier League experience. You know, he's won a trophy at Newcastle. You know, he's been around a little bit. He's of a decent sort of age. It does make sense. You know, we are in need of some good players in that central role. But if Arsenal are interested after just winning the Premier League, and Manchester City will be looking for to get themselves back where they are, if he had the opportunity between either of those two clubs and Tottenham, I can kind of see where that's going to go. But the fact that we're interested suggests we are trying to act a little bit differently this season. But will we get Gibbs Whited again, or Ezade again? That's the question. I think they need to strike quick, early and strongly to make this happen. So let's see how that one progresses. But at this moment in time, it's just early paper talk. So we'll see. But anyway, listen, thanks for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. I'm Lee The Dorset Spur. If you want to pop over and check out my channel, I'd be more than grateful to have you there. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. And as we say, up the Spurs.